Hi, Tanner.
And I'm Donna.
And we are here at Blue Bear Farm, and we welcome you to our farm. Again, welcome. Donna and I really are pleased that we have all of you here. Welcome to a little bit of South Georgia humidity, right? For you New South Wales folks, I don't know if that's probably a new thing for you.
Got a beautiful straight top line. Her tail head is set in nice. It's not up or tucked in. It's straight, which is for ease of calving and correctness. You know, her feet and legs and her back are important. You know, you twist your ankle, then you start limping, and then your knee on the other side hurts. Like to see them walk, make sure that they're tracking and that their shoulders rotate up above the spine. And I can see that now. She's got a nice udder on her. She could tighten her teats up just a little bit, but a lovely cow. I mean, you can see this 1,200 pound cows is, for the grass market, what tends to work.
I've always been the bigger one, but my son Greg is he's starting to scale them down now. Like I've had 4 killed cows the other day, 400 odd kilos dead, you know. But he's scaling the back for the grass market better.
I've scaled ours maybe a little further than I wanted because the market wants small, so I kept breeding small. But now I brought my cows down maybe to about 1,000 pounds. Not all of them, but my hope now is to add a frame size and 150 pounds back, but I have a lot more options to do that than the opposite, right?
Do you guys like what you're seeing?
Yeah, no, well, we're just discussing frame size.
Yeah.
And for the grass market, you don't, a bit bigger than this, and that's about as much as you want to go, because all they want to do is grow on.
Yeah.
And you
won't
just
fatten.
can't round them, round them off, you know,
Yeah.
a month's time, and they'll be ready. But no, a month comes up and they still haven't finished.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
well, and these, I mean, they're pretty growthy calves outside, and the cows aren't pulled down really at all.
Well, that's the thing about these cows. You can have a real big cow. She won't actually wean any heavier calf than a cow like that.
Yes.
Exactly.
At weaning.
And she eats 30% more.
Well, that's our big argument on grass is they say they're too small, but if you look at pounds of beef produced per acre, the smaller cows outperform the bigger ones.
And if things get a bit tough, they'll hang in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they'll hang in there easier. Would these black ones be a Devon cross?
Devon cross, yeah. When they started, they had some crosses too, and
that's with the cows that she started.
Yeah, and I think now they're just keeping purebred replacements, but because they're beef business.
There's a matron.
Yeah, right.
Isn't she?
Yeah. What a cow.
Yeah. And like you say, just a little bit bigger than her is all you want. If you do.
I was going to say, that's,
if you do.
For me, that's just about right.
Ideal cow.
Yeah, I'd balance that udder a little bit. I like to see the front 2 quarters maybe.
It's bloody hard.
But that's nitpicking. Yeah. That's nitpicking.
Oh, no. I look back on her on C1 as a heifer and show feeding and things like that as to whether it will come through in her progeny.
Yeah.
Some of them will, don't worry.
Yeah.
But she's worth a try.
Okay.
She's a nice cow.
Because the calves, conformation.
Right.
Colour.
Yes. I love that rich red.
Yeah. You can get too dark.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah.
You know, like
but she's got it all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't I didn't realise that was C1 until Jeremy told me. Said,
and what's C1's pedigree? You probably just told them.
It's the Tirana line. Yeah.
So she goes back to some of the older bloodline. But she's got a very good calf on her, Jeremy. And if she got to go, I did the calf wasn't as good.
L12 it should be. Welcome to Edgewood Devons in Monticello, Florida. We're on the farm tour for the World Devon Congress, which is the 400th anniversary of Devon cattle coming to the United States. So we welcome you to the south to see our herd of cattle. Edgewood Plantation, we're actually Edgewood operations with the cows. We have Devon cattle, and we did not start out with Devon cattle. My mother started probably 55 years ago with a mixed herd of Black Angus and Beefmaster, and in 2009 my daughter said, "Why don't you do grass-fed beef?" And that was our introduction to the Devon cattle. There were local people that told us about Devon cattle, and we saw them, were impressed with the taste of the meat and the qualities of the cattle. So we've transitioned, and now what you're seeing is a complete Devon herd that we're very proud of, that took a lot of years to get to this point.
As Susan said, these calves were all born first of the year, so you're seeing 3 to 4 month old calves, and they've been with the bull. And a nice set of cattle. Now, most of these animals trace back to a bull named Arthur that came from Arthur Beasley's herd. He was a Tapaway 509 son. I'm blanking on the mama, but we picked flush cows out of Arthur's herd and got embryos. And Arthur was a bull that I kept until he was about 6 years old before I sold him to Susan and told her I expected 2 or 3 more good solid years. I think she had him about 10 more years. That was one where she was right and I was wrong. I said probably time to cull the old bull a couple of times. She said, "Nah, we'll keep him just in case." And sure enough, we ended up using him another time or two. And he was one of those bulls that you could work him to death and he never lost a pound. First, Dan, thank you for having us, especially on a Sunday. Taking time out of your day. Dan does not have any Devon cattle. I'm trying to work on him getting a bull in here, but he certainly appreciates Devon cattle and good grass cattle. And Dan is the southeastern forage expert, wrote the book on it, and we're here because he has a unique production system, because he's an expert at doing it in this region. And part of what we're trying to do with the Devon cattle is show how they work in the Deep South, in the far north, in the mountains, in fescue country, and all these different environments and production systems. And we've seen other Devon operations down here in the Deep South. Dan does it a little bit different, but he's going to answer those questions for us about soils and forages, and of course show us his operation and how he does things. And with that, I'll be quiet and turn it over to the expert.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. I reluctantly take that title, expert. I'm just really a English major who couldn't figure out what to do with an English degree. So Welcome everyone. We have guests here a lot, but I don't think any that have traveled so far to be here. So we really appreciate you guys coming out and stopping and seeing this. My mother is here, Jo Glenn. Thank her for giving me the opportunity to come home to this family farm and start looking after our cattle program. My grandfather has had cattle since the 50s. He's been a farmer all his life, and I came home and had the opportunity to look after our herd, also help steward our farming operation. We grow about 1,000 acres of peanuts and corn in rotation, along with about 200 acres of hay and about 200 acres of summer and winter annuals for the cattle. When I got home, we had a real traditional cow-calf operation. We'd wean our calves in the fall, put them in the feed lot and feed them corn silage, corn and soybean meal, sell truckload lots in the spring when the prices came up. And that did pretty well over the years. About 3 years after I came home, corn prices went up historically really high, and I sat down with a livestock economist and figured out that like putting up corn silage wouldn't really pay that year. And we hadn't filled up that silo since. I got really interested. I have a background in sustainable agriculture, organic agriculture, permaculture. So when I moved back home to this family farm, I had to figure out what my place was. Also slow foods and farm-to-table dinners. And that's really when I moved home, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to start a farm-to-table dinner. So I started growing my own gardens, and I knew locals around here wanted to eat a good steak. So I got interested in producing, beef, direct market beef. And slowly, as I started looking after these cows, I really fell in love with it. So today, we keep 80 to 90% of our heifers. We expose those to bulls, and then we sell those. We keep the top end, and we sell those to customers, typically in the southeast, who are really interested in low to moderate input grass-based genetics that could finish on grass. So a lot of our genetics, going back to the Devons are a breed I considered back when I started changing the breed makeup of our cattle. I came home to a very, frame 6, large, conventional, Sim-Angus, Brangus, Hereford Angus cross cows that were, I felt like I discovered they were a little hard to finish on grass. They were a little too framey, and they took a little too long to finish. So we started bringing in more Angus-based genetics in order to try to get our frame size down and our carcass traits up, and really to be able to deposit intermuscular fat and back fat, just like the Devon breed does as well. One of the reasons we didn't go Devon was it was a smaller breed, and so there were fewer choices that I had, but also I was concerned about hair coat quality down here in the southeast, and horns. But as you know, there's cattle in all breeds that have those issues. So it's not just a single breed. The Black Angus can have that issue, Red Angus, a lot of the British breeds. I mean, they were bred in Britain for such a long period of time. That was their natural environment. South Georgia, it is hot 9 months out of the year. It's hot at night. They can really, cattle that don't shed off well, cattle that really aren't adapted to this environment struggle. These are yearling bulls, 2-year-old bulls, 3-year-old bulls, and adult herd bulls. So I just put everybody back together. They're a little hungry because they probably should have been moved last night or early this morning, but I wanted to do a move with you guys. 701. Not friendly. Whoa. Whoa. Come on, boys. Come on. Whoa! 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 We typically, a lot of times, don't have time to do daily moves. We've done daily moves in this pasture. So they had 1 day, they had 2 days. This will be their 3rd day. A lot of times we will do 2 to 3 day moves on the annuals. And as you can see, they probably graze this a little hard. But we're also getting all these bulls up to deliver to the herds tomorrow, so I kind of wanted them trapped so it'd be easy because they have to retreat to water back in the lot.
You're starting to check the sweetness of it. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, do you think of it in terms of my productive season or not so productive season?
And you
Yeah,
mix
I
it
mean,
up
I
and
certainly try to
feel the
think of it
sugars.
as forage
We don't
chains.
feed you enough on
my
this tour?
job as a granger
No.
is to build forage
But what do you mean
chains.
feel the sugars?
You can see the, you know, if it's sweet, if it's sweet, then it's got sugars in it, which is what the animals are after. So when you pick a bit of ryegrass,
Overseed this is actually tillage. So we'll go back to the pivot point on the way to the heifers and we'll talk about.
it's not bitter, it's sweet. That's what they're getting.
I'm sure you won't wear it. You probably have to put it on the wall so you remember we've been. Anyway, that's
Thank you.
and there's a book from
Wonderful.
I
Thank you.
encourage you to go to dance.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
So my job is to thank you on behalf of all the Australian visitors, and we've had a great day today, but everyone was thrilled that you as a succession planning in the farm has come together and you're in. Because we're all going through that process in Australia, and it's fantastic to see people go back and take it on, and so the continuity of the farm is maintained throughout for the next generation. That's right. So we're all preparing. So we had a fantastic day today, and it was great to join with young boys and things around, so it was a fantastic day. And your exposition of what goes on in a pasture, it brought it all together.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ann DeRoche. I'm a member of the Red Devon USA Board of Directors, and we are on this tour that we started in Florida, and we're going to end up in Massachusetts, and we're so happy to be here today. And Nancy and Bill, thank you so much for hosting us. We're looking for, I was here many years ago, and I'm looking forward to see all the changes you've made since then. But Bill and Nancy are longtime Devon breeders, and we're so happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're so glad to have you. You know, first of all, I didn't appreciate it. It just touched my heart to see old friends that I haven't seen in a long time. It really touched me, and I appreciate that. But we just kind of want to tell our story. This is our family farm. I had an aunt that was born there in 1880, so that's kind of how far we go back. My son lives there now. We live down the road about a quarter of a mile. We have 100 acres here and 100 acres down there. And I've always liked cows. I've always liked them. Now, my wife and son couldn't say that. And so for a while, we didn't have cows. That didn't help my domestic life. But then Nancy, we had some health problems, and grass-fed beef is a health food. And we've in Charleston, my daughter, one daughter lives in Charleston. Mother Earth News had an article on grass-fed beef 20 years ago, and I read it, and Nancy bought into it. So it was hard to find some grass-fed genetics beef, the type right beef, and I talked to Gerald Fry, and he recommended me go to North Carolina. We went up to Charlie Trantham's and the Devon breed, and Nancy said, I like them. I thought, that'll work for me. So we bought 5 cows, 5 heifers from Charlie, and a steer, and I thought that would do me for the next 15 years. But little did I know where we would be. One thing led to another, led to another. we bought some more cows, bought a bull, started selling a little beef, 20-pound packs, half a steer. So then Nancy decided we needed a place to store it. Well, then we built a market over here. And we started getting more cows. We needed more volume, and then we started renting more land. And then Nancy told me I had to come home from the hospital early, and so I decided to hire somebody. And we've had farm managers. We went up with about another 300 acres leased, and we had the market. And that Nancy ran the market, and I kind of ran the farm, I guess, in Clifton. And we had a farm manager. We had pigs, cows, and as you know, with Devons, the Devon breeders, and here we want to produce a certain kind of meat. How you manage your pastures is a whole world of how do you manage your pastures. In the southeast, in this area, my grandparents, they lived as cotton farmers. And basically, the way they managed with this land, they eroded the topsoil. And so how do you go back to preserving your land? And that was a whole issue with rotational grazing, putting life into your soil, into the plants, into the animals. There's a whole world of learning that.
We don't have a lot of cocksfoot. You can find it in shady areas and less extreme environments. You can use it for hay, but once cow lips touch it, it goes away fairly quickly. Tall fescue's here because it's really, really persistent, really tough. Toxic, of course, but it fits here. We cannot grow perennial ryegrass here. It's just the summers are too extreme. And actually we've got a lot of disease pressure here that cause some issues as well. So our systems in the northern part of the state are tall fescue based, and that's what you see out there. And we complement that a lot to decrease the toxicosis. As we get down on, we can grow things like Bermuda grass, Cynodon dactylon. There's probably a common name in Australia or for Bermuda grass. I don't. I think they call it couch grass in New Zealand. I don't know what. Same? Okay.
Well, they didn't get onto bees.
Does anybody else?
Oh, it's you.
It's me. I think we're right, Bill.
I thought it was.
All right.
I thought it was Lisa.
Can we smile when we say, "Oh, it's you"?
It's you.
Not,
You with that camera again.
They see me almost every day, depending. But we don't, a couple of times a year, and people want to come. So they're not used to other people per se. But yeah, they're pretty laid back. We've had a couple of them you could walk up to and climb up on their back. And these are not hand-raised cows. You can get out there and they kind of look at you and they kind of walk around a little bit. But they are, I do like the temperament of these animals. We've gotten some really nice hybrid vigor when we've done that.
Yeah.
I've got one that's got B4 and D4. They're actually sisters.
Right.
And their mother was an American milking Devon.
Yeah.
Okay. And she just threw outstanding calves.
Great calves.
Oh yeah.
I've just been walking around here taking some photos, and one of the folks here has a list of the pedigrees on these animals. So I was looking for the animals that have the traditional English breeding in them. We last year used a traditional English bull on our herd, and I was just trying to get an idea what they look like, and there's some very nice cows here.
Oh, the milking Devon, yeah, because I'm really interested in the cross between the beef Devon and the milking Devon, and the ones we saw up there. So I was just asking Bill, I said, what are you going to call this product? Because the calf was a sappy calf. And he said, I think I'll call it a red fillet. So instead of hamburger meat, it'll be the red fillet. Don't you reckon that's great? I think it is.
Look at some cattle.
Yeah, this is one of our new bulls.
What sort of age do you take your cows
They were
through before you...
close to 2-year-old when they hit about 1,100 pounds.
No, before you have to pass them on, the cows, like...
Get too old?
The age, get to a bit like me, too old.
I've had one here, or a few here, that's over 24-year-old.
Fair dinkum.
Yeah, I've got, I think there's still one or two up there that's close to 18-year-old now.
And they still maintain their frame?
Yeah.
And,
They 14 now.
14 and 15.
15.
Cows or bulls?
Cows. Yeah.
And still breeding all right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Back when the Civil War and things were going on, the people that was here, they had these foragers, you know, that's coming through, that's supposed to be looking after the country. They took the Devon and they hid them back in the mountains.
All right.
And they only left a few down here. And when they come through, they got what Devon they seen here and took them with them and beefed them and eat them. But they had the main herd way back in the mountain back here, and the slaves stayed back there with them so they wouldn't find them. Otherwise, the Devon would have been gone. So,
And these are all descended from those
yep,
original Devons?
Devon, it was brought down in 1849.
And how many generations has it managed?
Oh, there's never been another cow brought to the farm.
That's amazing.
So every one of them is genetics from the original herd from 49.
See, we got this new bull that's down toward the main gate that we're trying. He's homozygous, polled, and we're getting too old to manhandle them to dehorn them. But we're hanging on to that bull just in case the calf crop isn't what we want. And so far, the calves have been small, but that's good in my opinion.
You have calves from that?
Yeah, the little ones that's been running around. That's his first calves for us. And they're dark red. I love the dark red.
Me too. I like small calves.
And we reckon that cow there is 15-year-old.
Yep. Yep.
You told us he was.
Yep. That's the oldest one I've got.
That's the oldest cow you've got.
Yep.
Right.
Still going.
And,
Looks like she'll go around again.
Yep. She's still a good little cow. happy you were here. Nice to meet you.
my daughter.
Nice to meet you. Well, wonderful. Well, come on in. We're going to get started and get right to it. Some coffee?
Yes.
And have you seen my father yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, here he comes.
We are looking forward to meet
Here he comes. So we're going to let everybody in with them, but just wanted to demo real quick moving the cattle, how we do it. Again, the cattle aren't used to forage this good. This is usually for young stuff we're growing. The only time the cows are usually up here is for a month in the winter when we're doing AI. We build lanes just like this and we can walk cows up as they come into heat and breed them. So they were in the far section 2 days ago. They've been in the middle section a day. They'll move into here. You can see there's already calves piled in here that dip under the wire, but we encourage that. We want the calves to harvest it more than the cows, so they get first dibs at it. Got a lot of cattle leaving this time of year. All these cattle go to Rhode Island in the morning. While we're at Thistle Hill, Laurel will be here loading a tractor trailer, so a lot happening. Go, girls! Always got to get the first one. Both spring and fall calving calves in this group. The only horned animals we keep here are for their first calf. We have all the first calf heifers calve here. Then typically we move the horned cattle to other farms only because they're less marketable.
She's very nice, feminine. She's got a nice even udder. She's big and wide like a table across the top. I like that. And when she was walking towards me, she was nice and wide in the front end. And she has a cute face. You just can't look at an ugly cow. Big wide muzzle. And the other thing I'm paying attention to is He's got color coding on his tags, which is really fun because you can kind of scan through and find, oh, I really like that cow, and then she looks at you and it's a certain color, and you can go and say, oh, she's from this bull line, and after that happens a lot of times, and if you happen to pick the same color every single time,
then you know what line.
Then you're like, ooh, that's probably the bull I want to use. I like this cow. Oh, that's the second time I picked her out. C7. I picked her out when we were up the hill.
To the Devons now. I know. I'm so pleased because I said, when I go, I want to know that they're still going.
Right now, because I've not been working with him, but when he was younger, I would not loose. I'd have him tied up.
We tried to get her to come
my brother's
this
like, I
time
went out and sat on Willow, and
to
I'm
meet
like,
some
okay,
nice young
just don't
American
break
lads,
back.
you know,
But he's big enough. I'm like, I really
she
want
said,
to.
no, you and Dad go. And
I was quite interested to hear that the Paulonia was an invasive.
Easy. Easy. Push them. Easy. Here. Here. Shadow. Stand. Come by. Stand. The misconception is that you work the back of the group. You drive the front of the group and the back follows. Come by. Stand.
Yep, so this is Fred Flintstone's stake here that he put on us. But anyways, this is going to be between the 12th and 13th rib where you'd split between the hind quarter and the front quarter. And then this side is going to be the other side where between the chuck and where the ribeye starts. So. Oh, yep. Yeah, so this would be like the middle part, and this would be facing towards his head, more the chuck spot. You can kind of tell because it starts to, well, you start to get this feather bone that kind of comes up in there, if you can see that. And that's when you start kind of getting into your chuck roast. That's where they'll start cutting your chuck roast right on the other side. What we do sometimes on the other side, if this eye of the steak is still pretty nice and defined, we'll still cut those, and we call them chuck Delmonicos instead of like rib eyes as Delmonicos, because they're a little bit fattier and you don't have like that defined muscle on it.
Oh! That bites $40.
I don't even need a plate.
That bites $40.
That's what you get for being president. It has one bonus.
It's good to be president, as they say.
That tomahawk right there.
beautiful.
Can you eat all of that? Are you
Get
sure?
this on video, watch it.
Jeremy! Hey, look at this camera!
Oh my God! That's crazy. I wouldn't know.
World Devon Congress!
It is a huge honor to have so many people that love Devons as much as we do in one place. And it doesn't happen very often, especially if you try and find them locally. But we wanted to kind of just put together a couple minutes here to introduce ourselves. If you don't know me already, my name's Church Humphreys. I'm the fourth generation of farmer here, third generation raising Devons. I guess the best job description for me is probably manager since about 2017. The reason I say the best is because I've had a bad habit the last 3 years of staying away for 90% of the year. Fourth year, or going into my fourth year of vet school at Cornell, and hopefully be back this way next year as not just a farmer but also a large animal vet. Thistle Hill Farm, we've been around, started as about 50 acres in the 1940s, and we've expanded out since then. We have about 90 to 100 acres of pasture here, and another maybe 60 acres of pasture in the area that we lease from people and have worked with for many, many years. Just like about everybody else here, we sell breeding stock, straws, stockers. We've done a couple bull leases with a few partner farms, and we've also done direct-to-consumer beef.
It's good to be here. My name is Jerry Stucca. I'm a veterinarian at North Dakota State University. I'm the extension veterinarian and livestock stewardship specialist there, which is an interesting position to be in. I've enjoyed it for the last, it'll be 12 years, I think, now coming up onto July. Before that, I was a tech service veterinarian for Pfizer Animal Health, which became Zoetis. And then before that, I was 12 years at Kansas State University on faculty there. And then before that, I was in private practice. And I realize now that maybe I am starting to run out of time a little bit, but I am going to leave NDSU at the end of the fiscal year. I got plenty of cows to keep me busy. I'm from North Dakota. I live there. I live about 5 miles out of a little town called Cooperstown, not Cooperstown, New York, the Baseball Hall of Fame, but Cooperstown, North Dakota. It's not a very big town, maybe 1,000 people. I serve on the medical center board there. I'm president of the board of the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, so lots of other activities that I'm involved with, but life's been good. I've gotten to go many places. So it's been an experience. Life is an experience.
We have 7 mature bulls here, all from different lines. We have bulls from Australia, we have bulls from England, we have bulls with New Zealand genetics, kind of a combination, as well as American genetics. We have our guests going through and they're going to evaluate these 7 bulls and place them 1 to 7. And then we're going to see who the audience puts as the #1 bull. And I think it'll be interesting because we got a diverse group here, different size, frames, pedigrees. And I think part of it's going to depend on the goal of the producer, but it's going to be interesting to see what we get. All right, we're looking here. We've got a couple very different type of bulls. The bull in the center is the meat wagon bull. His sire is from New Zealand, the Oban bull, and you can just see the tremendous growth and muscling on that bull. A lot of meat there. Actually, the name kind of fit him well. In the back, we have Lakota's G33, a more compact bull. Nice wide and deep bull, but different type, different goals. If you want growth and you want a bull that's going to stretch out and have that long ribeye area, the meat wagon bull. If you want a bull that's going to provide nice wide thick calves, shorter frame, that finish easy on grass, he's going to be perfect for that. We just happen to have a youngster in there as well. The F61 cow is one of our top cows, and she actually goes back to some Australian genetics, and so we have him in there as well. He's a nice, just a weanling bull.
How them little brown buggers look there.
And just because they're so delightful looking, please make it one of those bless the food, bless meat, bless an animal, let's eat, right?
There you go.
I'm impressed with my father's cooking. He did a wonderful job on this place.
Okay, so we'll be looking at this, I would assume she's older, the older of the two, the one standing up. She's a nice conformation, straight back. Looks like a pretty decent udder. If we're going to get into criticism, I don't like the little dark on her nose, but it's not totally black. And let's see what we got here. This cow just got up. Much younger animal, I'm guessing she's probably first calf heifer, maybe a second. I do like her legs a little more than the older cow. Smaller udder though. I don't know what her lactation status is right now, but they're both good examples. You know, if we're going to sit here and pick them apart, we could do that all day, but they're good examples of a milking Devon.
And I would assume he uses those to put a little bit of milk genetics into his beef Devons?
I would say if he's going to keep heifers from these, that's probably why he's doing this. And then those heifers would be, you know, percentage milking Devon, but certainly give more milk to their offspring as the generations move along. It's typical what a lot of Red Devon breeders do is they throw a little milking Devon in once in a while to make sure the milk production in the generations forward is enough to nourish the calves and and get them started and growing properly and correctly. I'm very impressed with this big bull.
Oh, there now he's walking for you.
And
Sorry?
he's walking with a good outlook and nice and wide, David.
Yeah.
The other little fella
These are half brothers, you said, right?
The 3 2-year-olds are half brothers.
Okay. So why are you very impressed with the big bull?
Well, the scale of him, the size, he's good length. He's got a nice strong head. In general, he takes your eye. You agree with that, David? Yeah. This
I would agree with that.
here, that's a very dangerous bull to breed from.
I think so.
He's not going to carry himself any good. His legs are. What do you think, John?
I agree with you.
He's quite narrow, really.
He's narrow. He is long-legged, which I like. I like a little taller, but he is narrow, and his head is not quite as nice as I'd like.
He's not a bull.
Right, not a breeding bull.
No.
Didn't I just get this shot?
Oh my gosh, I've never had beef bacon. I've tried things new on this trip. Now I'm blowing this man's mind.
We have the privilege of walking behind the animals, and we were looking at the escutcheon and things like that, which I know you're all well aware of, and we were just looking at it from a bull that might breed you more cows in your herd. And so Paul and I were thinking that the young calf here, number 6, seemed to be a better fit for that production cycle. But if you wanted a terminal and one that, you know, grew out to big heavy weights, these two here looked like they'd probably do that. But, you know, if you're trying to build your herd, you've got to separate in your mind which will do the better thing for you. So I agree with Jeremy's comments about the conformation, structure. Everything he said was, you know, what we could see, Paul and I were seeing. And now it's just the finesse. What do you want the bull for? Terminals or females?
So, for those of you that don't know what Bob means by terminal, right, is if everything's going to go into the meat market, right, then udder structure and feet and legs doesn't matter, right? The feet and legs aren't going to break down in 2 years, right? So for stocker cattle, it doesn't matter. But I think your deeper meaning is, if I'm building a herd, I'm not trying to produce bulls to sell. I'm trying to produce mother cows that are going to last into their teens and be able, highly fertile, and raise a good calf every year. So the conformational issues are more important, but which bull I select would be different. I can pick on Ken McDowell again because he's not with us. The Rhodakawa cattle had huge appeal because the bulls were incredibly masculine. They were more masculine than the other Devon bulls around the world. The biggest problem I saw, though, was the Rhodakawa cows were masculine as well. And that leads to other problems, right? And so if I'm producing bulls to sell into the commercial market, Rhodakawa is a great, you're going to produce more sons that look like these 2 young bulls over here that are going to be swooped right up, right? But if I'm producing daughters, there's some other things I'm looking for. Fertility would be one, right? So that testicular development would be very important. Bob's talks about the escutcheon. Some folks ask about teat placement on the scrotum. I think there's varying opinions on what that means. But I can tell you one thing I don't buy into the teat placement on the scrotum so much, but I do buy into teat shape. Whether it's a new heifer calf or a bull calf, it's easy for me to flip it over and see, do I have 4 teats or is there a 5th one hiding in there, right?
Wow, this is incredible. Thank you all so much for coming. It's a special day here in our farm and in Seneca County and in New York State, and for Devon breeders and enthusiasts worldwide. My name's Dale Fryer, and you're at Every Season Farm. And I know many of you came from very far away, and we appreciate that. And we're excited about what we have in store for this afternoon. And so this first animal I'd like to introduce you to, his name is Huckleberry. He is He is 1 year old, or he'll be a year old in a week. And you might be asking, why did we choose to put this animal up here? So he is a bull, but what he represents for Every Season Farm and for the Milking Devon breed is our efforts towards bringing milk data within the milk lines that could be reproducible for offspring. So his dam is one of our selected milk cows that made our cut to be in a group that we continually milk. His grand dam is also in that group, but interestingly for him, his sire's dam is also in that group. And so now we've got milk data going back, trying to build records that would say, hey, okay, for this animal now, for a milking Devon, what could we hope to expect as far as progeny? And so I brought him up to kind of represent that to you guys. I think he is a good-looking bull. His temperament is good, but what he's carrying in his genes is multiple generations of milk genetics that have data behind them, which he could pass on to his offspring. And there would be few bulls that we could say that about, I think, right, John and Bonnie, in the milking Devon breed at the present time.
I have a pair of 3-year-old American Milking Devon steers. I've been training them, and hopefully we can do some pulling in the forecart. This is my second team, and they've been doing really well with me. Okay. At a very young age, we are gonna start making them friendly and stuff. But even before that, I have to choose what cows do I want to actually train. So they were born very, very similar. They're very, very similar in age. They're only 5 days apart, and that's important because they're going to be the same size and they'll be able to pull equally. Their dams are full sisters, and they have the same sire. So that means they are genetically very the same also. So I'm going to start by grabbing the yoke. They're in a 10-inch yoke, which refers to how big the bow is. So it's 10 inches from how wide it is. They started out at 2 weeks of age, which means they had a very, very small yoke, but they've been growing.
How big was their yoke when you started?
I believe it was a 5-inch yoke, and that's a big, big difference. Get up. Bottom me.
So we'll have them demonstrate out here in the area in front of the barn.
Ollie. On Grant. Get up. On Grant. Whoop. Back Grant. Back lean. Back lean. Back Grant. Back lean. Back Grant. Back. Whoop. Back Grant. Back lean. Back Grant. Back lean. Back. Back lean. Back Grant. Back lean. Back. Back step lean. Back step. Come on. Back lean. Back Grant. Whoop. Leap it in.
This was an experiment station in Massachusetts, and she gave 1,400 pounds in 30 days. I just want to thank Ginny and Anthony from Simply Homemade for the amazing meal that we had today. They cooked a great milking Devon meatloaf with turkey and an amazing cherry cobbler. And thank you guys so much. Everybody loved it, and you couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you.
It was our pleasure. World Devon Congress 2024!
here is we rotate graze on about 500 acres of pasture. We have several cooperative farmers that we work with. No Barn Farm here, Kim Hollander, who also is your hostess tonight, who's going to be serving you some of the best food I think you'll probably have had on the trip.
Well, we hope so. It is your food, so if you don't like it, you could
anyway,
complain.
Kim and her family they have Devons on their farm that she started with a couple of our, we would call misfits. One cow that had frostbitten ears and didn't have much of a...
Her mama died at birth.
Her mama died at birth,
and
right.
Paul and Laura said, why don't you go take this one? And that was the start of me farming.
So what you're seeing here, the red and the black, okay? So everybody here has been crossed with a Devon. So now the lighter red ones are going to be out of Montana, actually, out of a herd out of Montana, a Red Angus called the 5L. And some of the best Red Angus. He has some of the best Red Anguses in the United States. Yeah, yeah. So I was fortunate. A friend of mine bought 4 heifers from him, and I got a couple bulls from him. So you'll see some of the red ones that are bigger boned. Not as fine bone as some of the Devon Angus cross, the Black Angus. So the bigger bone ones you'll probably see, if they got a 5 on it on the top, that means that's out of the 5L or the 5F, whoever it was at the time.
And is this crushed, or do you have to put lime on here?
Yeah, we lime it. Yeah, yeah.
About every 3 years.
We keep it around 6'2", 6'5".
No, it's good.
The dairy cow. Oh,
This is one that I have in Victoria. We call them.
Here, cow. Here, cow.
How was your place? You passed on the way here.
Yeah, on the right.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Here, cow. Yeah.
No, that's a special line of Devon.
That's a new type of Devon.
Jersey type Devon.
That's my neighbor's dairy cow.
And it's just dying to get pet.
His kids milked that cow until they were 16.
So this is the Open Space Institute, which is a land preservation. And so Paul has access now to a lot of their pastures and is able to put all the cows on pasture in these fields, which is ginormous. And so they're really excited about his involvement with OSI and vice versa. So all of these Open Space Institute, okay. And they do a lot of land preservation all over the United States, but a lot on the East Coast. They're again, this was run down. It was just laid dormant, and in a few years, it's all coming back because of the cows.
Who was looking for that creamy yellow draft? Look, see? The butterfat. And beautiful escutcheon. Where's the... You see, where's the camera? Oh, here it is. Some hairs are going down, and then you'll find the others change direction. See that? There? And then it looks like a shovel. Upside down. Come on, girl. See, there's a bit of a shovel there. Whoop, it's all right. Hey? Oh, I did, didn't I? Show the level. Well, I'm not going to do her ear, but the yellow flakes are there. See it? Yeah.
What does it mean?
Well, it could be. Some people say it's rich in butterfat. Looking at the udder and looking at the frame of the udder, the structures, nice long teats, full quarters, come along the ribs. It's all right, girl. It's all right. It's all right. All right. Good girl. The whorls and the deepness here. Nice soft skin.
She got the whorls there, Bob?
Yes. She's a nice cow. Nice dairy Karen, but good line, top line, bottom line. What else, Paul? Just looking at her. Over right. Yep. Good mouth, good mower. Look at the size of the mouth. Look at the bridge. Look at the mouth. Come on, girl. Show it. All right, don't worry. She'll show you, No, it's a big bridge on the mouth. So she takes one bite, she gets a full meal. Every bite. Claws, maybe. Yeah, watch out. She's going to give it to you. Yeah. Okay. It's a nice, soft cow. Now, how would you do it, John?
Very similar. I start at the head and worked back.
Yeah.
You started at the back and worked forward, but
that was just
you look at her head, I agree. The mouth is nice and wide, big. Her eyes are bright. Big nostrils on her. Horn set is nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's got a nice eye.
She's got a pretty good heart girth on her.
Yep. Basically, heart girth. This is the heart girth. Come on, girls, don't do anything silly. Measurement there, and then from here to there it should be equal. That's the balanced position.
And she's got a nice wedge shape with a lot of dairy.
Yep. Keep going, John.
So nice spring of ribs. She's not all pinched in. She's open wide where you want that.
Right.
Right.
Great capacity.
Like you said, top line pretty good. She's got a little bump back there. I might deduct a little bit there. Pins are good. Hips are good.
Bradford, did your husband select this cow to come out on the boat, or?
It was Master Winslow who made the choice.
Master Winslow.
Yeah.
Edward Winslow.
Wasn't Mr. Bradford?
No, my husband made the choice of him to go back.
So would you take her on the plane back with you?
Oh, I don't think we'll fit her in the luggage. Do you worry about, do you like the look of the horn? Nice white
The
horn
shape or
the no, the tip.
Where?
See how she's developed here?
Yeah.
Do you read anything from there?
Well, I don't know if I read anything, but some of the cows are different in the structure there.
Yeah.
We have cows, some of them that their horns are more straighter up. But yeah, some of our cows, the horns go up a little straighter. You'll notice that on some of these steers, they're down a bit. That's typical with oxen. Should we look at the heifer?
Okay, let's go. Yeah, just keep a nice range. I need a range.
Jim, how old are John? How old is she? John, how old is the cow?
No, she's married in truth to Edward.
I think he said she's 8.
8?
Mark. 8 years. 8. And this one's 10 months?
10 months.
10 months.
Well grown, 10 months.
Now
Same story, start at the head.
Yep, much darker color on this animal,
Yes.
which is favored by some breeders. But yeah, let's start at the head. The head is nicely formed, longer and narrower, not too boxy. That's a sign to me of ease of child calving.
Okay, you're right. But yeah, it's nice and balanced. You
Right.
go, don't it? Then you look down the line.
Yeah, the line is nice and straight, nice and flat.
Okay. And she's well sprung.
She is,
So
I think.
You started well.
Yeah.
Nice claw structure.
Yeah.
Clean. Oh yeah, geez, I'm going to give you something to go on with. And then you just follow through on the wedge.
Yep.
But basically the lines are strong, parallel lines.
Nice looking heifer all in all.
Yeah.
For a milking Devon.
For a
I mean,
milking
yep.
Devon. Yeah, oh girl, don't do it. So as a calf, you know, the heart girth and the balance between here and here is pretty much the same.
He's got nice long legs, nice flanks.
Yeah, I noticed, and she's long in the twist, and her other construction, a bit hard to see. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Not much there at the moment, but our mum's giving her a hard time. She's well grown, really. She's got great width. And you'll see this scutcheon. Yeah, there you go.
Teats are good.
Some people say again, yeah, it's all right. Some people get crazy about that, but we can check her ears out too.
You're hitting it for the day and ape.
It's a nice little heifer. How old is it?
10 months.
10 months, so she's on the way. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she shouldn't have any trouble calving when she gets older.
So you'll see they don't grow quite as fast as yours
No.
do at 10 months. They're slower growing
No, but
for
you can
sure.
see
But she'll get there.
She'll get there. Yeah, and she's standing on the hocks pretty well. Okay.
Okay.
When we get there, can you film them getting out while I get the camera ready?
Yes, I'll hop out. At some point, we have to get the saga of the step stool and how I met you gentlemen negotiating in the step stool aisle at Target.
Oh, yeah. You mean you met them in Target? They weren't even supposed to be on this tour?
What?
Anybody want chips?
What about Imodium?
Okay, everyone, wave and say hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, everyone all in?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right.